Welcome to the Sports Phenom Show for another week of your MLS action, where I have you another three best bets to take advantage of. Thus far on the season, I'm kicking some serious ass as usual with a more than impressive 20-10 record. That's 67% winners over the 30 plays that I've given you out. 9-2 run over the last 12, over the last 4 weeks. So fair to say, I continue to prove why I am the number one capper and sports professional bettor on the planet. No matter what sport I do, I get the job done. I am a winner. By following me, I will not only make you money, but I'll also save you money. I am the only source, folks, that you will ever need. And I prove it to you week in and week out here on this recording. I've never had 2 straight losing weeks. I rebounded again last week, going 2-0-1 with a push. 2 wins, no losses, 1 push. How incredible is that? That includes the entire football season from last season, and this entire MLS season thus far. Those are all the recordings I've done on this YouTube channel and never had 2 straight losing weeks. So, hey, fair to say, like I said, there is no other source you will ever need. Just me, your phenom. So let's get right to it with my first selection of the week. My first best bet's going to be in the game between Minnesota United and Inter Miami. Both of these squads aiming to continue strong starts to their Major League Soccer season. They're going to do battle here in this one at Alliance Field on Saturday. The two sides both returned to winning ways last time out. Minnesota sitting very nicely in the standings right now, in 4th in the Western Conference, while Inter Miami 5th in the Eastern Conference. Inter Miami had that disappointing result against FC Dallas a couple games ago, but rebounded nicely at home to New York, the Red Bulls, in a commanding 4-1 triumph. In between those two matches, if you remember, they lost a 2-leg Champions Cup semifinal against the incredible red-hot Vancouver Whitecaps to start the year. Not just start the year, they've been on fire all season long. And what a surprise that was to Inter Miami, losing both of those legs combined 5-1. Talk about shocking. The ex-Barcelona players, Suarez, Alba, Busquets, Inter Miami's main of the 4, Inter Messi. Obviously not going to be happy about that. We know how he takes losing in general, more or less getting embarrassed. First time they've been embarrassed since Messi's inaugural joining of Inter Miami. So the reason I mention this, it's because as you saw in last week's big performance, the 4-1 victory, it's time now to concentrate on the regular season. They do have the World Club Cup upcoming in June, but for now, they're going to be taking their frustrations out on every opponent they face. And now they have a team, the Minnesota United here. Actually, I said they were 3rd. They're actually 2nd now in the Western Conference after that win last week. And you know, one thing Miami loves to do is show the top teams in the league, no matter what conference they're in, what they're made out of. I truly believe this game comes down to simply just that one main aspect, and that's Inter Miami getting trounced in that Champions Cup, now looking to take their frustrations out on any team that gets in their way from moving up the standings. As mentioned, they're 5th in the standings right now. You know, Inter Miami wants to move up. That's not where they want to be, and probably where they won't be come season's end. I expect them to be at the top, or at least near the top in the Eastern Conference. So expect them to get up big for this game. I was very surprised to see the line. Why would Inter Miami be a 2-1 underdog to win this game outright? That's crazy. Not that I care, though, because we're going to take advantage. Minnesota United, yes, a very good team. Yes, they're off to a very good start. But they did lose to Vancouver a couple of weeks ago, 3-1. So we know they're not quite that class, maybe just below that. But Miami will want to prove they are the next best team to Vancouver in the league right now. I expect a big performance. And because of that big plus 200 line to win as an underdog outright, we can fully take advantage by getting a plus half. That's a double chance bet, meaning you can win the game outright or draw and win, only laying 140. Folks, you cannot beat that with the caliber of talent that this Inter Miami team has, especially with what's now on the line, and that's for them to climb up the standings, redeem themselves after that Champions Cup semifinal loss. They'll be looking to get even more recruits in the summer transfer window. I can guarantee you that. There's a lot of rumors out there. So, you know, Messi and company will want to make a transfer, a possible transfer, look very attractive to those bigger name players that are potentially thinking about coming. Look for Miami to have a very strong performance here. You might want to even sprinkle a little on the money line plus to 200. You gotta love it. Officially, Inter Miami plus a half, laying 140. This is my favorite play of the week. My best bet of the 3 best bets to start things off for this week. Next game. This is going to be my second of 3 best bets for this weekend. And we're going to be taking a look at the matchup between Toronto FC playing at home to DC United. Now, I've taken Toronto FC a couple times here this season, and they've been good to us. You might ask why I like taking a team like TFC, who's bottom of the standings right now, along with CF Montreal. Well, betting isn't just about taking the best teams in the league or only the top teams. It's about looking for spots for teams that aren't necessarily at the top. They could be in the basement or close to the basement, like Toronto FC right now is. It's just depending on injuries, how they're playing, circumstances that have happened along the way that have put them in that situation. And I've explained it to you before with Toronto FC. This is a team that's had a plethora of injuries to start the season. They're starting to get a lot of those injured players back. And even while they're getting back, it still seems they lose a player here and there. It's just the luck that they've been having. But they do get Zane back today, a 21-year-old they picked up from Arsenal over the winter transfer window. So he'll be back in the lineup. Also, Kevin Long, Ireland international, back in center back. And with Zane there with them in the center back position, you're looking at a very strong back end. Notable, when Kevin Long is in the lineup, folks, they've only scored 1 goal against Toronto FC in those last 4 games when he's in the lineup. He wasn't in the lineup last game, and Toronto FC lost to New England 2-0. Interesting, right? But when he's in the lineup, he is one of the best center backs in the league, and I think this is going to be a big reason why Toronto FC should get in the win column here today, especially when you have DC United, a team that relies on one forward to get the job done. And if he's not firing on all cylinders, there's nobody else on that team that can really do much damage. DC United sitting in 12th position right now in the Eastern Conference, Toronto 14th. So this is a really good chance for Toronto to maybe start a little bit of a win streak. They've only got that 1 win on the season that they picked up on the road, surprisingly, in Real Salt Lake. So they're also going to be looking for their first home win here this season. And that's rare for them because they're usually traditionally a very, very strong home team and where they get their most of their victories season in and season out. So I look for Toronto to have a big game here. There's nothing that's telling me that DC United's going to be able to give Toronto a lot of problems here. Now, they did win last week, a decent win against Colorado at home, but what has DC done on the road? They lost 3-0 the week before in Philadelphia. They also lost in San Jose 6-1 a few weeks back. So they're getting crushed when they go on the road. This is exactly the medicine that Toronto FC needs right now with Kevin Long back, with Zane back, with a healthy Ola up front. They might be able to finally get some scoring prowess. If Insigne has a good game and Bernadeschi can link up with Ola, there is absolutely no reason Toronto doesn't pick up their first win here of the season. The good thing is, added is the line on this game. To win outright, Toronto's, I think, about plus 140 right now. So we can take them nicely on the pick line. We don't have to spend too much. We don't have to lay too much here to cover ourselves just in case it's a draw. I don't see anything worse than that. So just like last week when I gave you a similar breakdown to the Atlanta game on the pick line, where I told you they're not going to have anything worse than a draw in that game. That's exactly what happened. I think that's exactly what's going to happen in this game. But hopefully we'll pick up the win, and I truly believe this is the spot. If Toronto's going to get their first win at home, this is going to be the game. So the second of three best bets for this weekend, Toronto FC on the pick line. Next game. This is my final of three best bets for this MLS weekend. Let's take a look at the game between FC Cincinnati playing at home to Austin FC. Well, first off, FC Cincinnati right now is the hottest team in the league. Absolutely no doubt about it. They had won 5 straight before losing last week. In weeks prior to that, they had won games convincingly and looked to be one of the top contenders in the Eastern Conference. They did fall 1-0 shy last week against New York City, but they were all over New York FC in this game. Really, truthfully, should have deserved a better fate. But I like FC Cincinnati to rebound. They haven't lost 2 straight here this season. They are on absolute fire prior to that loss last week, and this is a good spot for them to rebound against an Austin FC team who, even though they were off to a very good start to this season, have now lost and dropped 3 of their last 4, and over the last 5 games have only scored 2 goals. That's not going to get you a lot of wins. Last week at home, they got crushed by Minnesota United 3-0. The week before that, they lost to the second last place team in Houston, who's only above LA Galaxy, who hasn't even won a game yet this season. And Austin had big trouble with them losing 2-0. The game that they did win, speaking of LA Galaxy, was at home against LA Galaxy 3 weeks ago. And before that, got absolutely crushed by Vancouver 5-1. So as you see, when they play the top tier teams like Vancouver, lost 5-1. Minnesota in second place in the conference, lost 3-1. They aren't that great against these top tier teams, and FC Cincinnati is very much one of those top tier teams. And now you're going to ask them to go on the road and try to beat FC Cincinnati, who's coming off a loss. Not a chance, folks. FC Cincinnati is the play here, and you're only having to lay 130 at home. Come on. Definitely, I have found 3 best bets that are more than worthy of your hard-earned money here this weekend. There's not much more I'm going to add to this FC Cincinnati because it's clear as day. Folks, FC Cincinnati is the play here. They are red hot. Austin FC is not. This is a rebound play for FC Cincinnati to get back on the board against a team that can't score right now, and it's definitely starting to go the wrong way in the standings. FC Cincinnati, my third and final MLS best bet for this week. Now to repeat, my 3 best bets for this weekend. And would it be nice to go 3-0 and make it a 12-2 run over the last 14. I feel it, folks. I really think we're going to get it. It's just been that good of a season. I'm on fire in everything I'm doing right now, folks. It's absolutely crazy how much money I am making my clients. If you want to become one, send me an email. sportsgamblingphenom@gmail.com. Again, sportsgamblingphenom@gmail.com. I will make you more money than you ever dreamed possible. Forget the rest. Fraudulent scammers, the BS of the business. I don't upsell. I just win. I get the job done. I will make you more money than you ever dreamed of. I am the Phenom. There's a reason I got this name. I get it done. World champion handicapper in the NFL. World champion handicapper in all sports combined. And I prove it to you every single week right here on this podcast. And I'm going to do it again here this week with these 3 best bets. I sure do make it look easy, don't I, folks? Inter Miami plus a half. Toronto FC on the pick line. And FC Cincinnati to rebound after loss last week to get back in the win column here this week against Austin. I am the Phenom, folks. Let's get it done once again. Here we go. Let's get this money. See ya.